You might be an intermediate lifter who's been stuck for a long time, not making any considerable progress despite all of your efforts. This can be a tough and discouraging place to be in, especially if you don't understand why progress isn't happening. In this video, I will list 5 reasons why intermediates get stuck, along with actionable things that you can take away and implement to ensure progress again. Before we continue further, disclaimer time.
It is okay not to care about lifting that much!
Go fuck yourself! People can have other priorities in life. This video is for those of us who prioritize lifting, at least to some extent. Now, we will define a beginner, intermediate and advanced lifter based on how quickly they can make progress under perfect circumstances, not based on their strength level or years of training. So let's get started. Reason 1 why intermediates get stuck. Inconsistency. When you take time off of training, your work capacity starts going down considerably within a week, and you start losing strength and size in 2 to 3 weeks. Your body doesn't care what the reason for your absence is. A beginner makes gains so fast that even if they take a month off of training, for example, it won't negate 3 months worth of progress. The net gain is still easily positive. An intermediate makes gains much slower, so taking a month off might totally negate 3 months worth of progress. It's important to mention that gaining back old strength and size is much faster than gaining them in the first place, but a more experienced lifter might have to stack multiple months of hard training together to see any progress whatsoever. So taking days, weeks and months off of training in this scenario results in no progress at all, because the lifter is stuck losing and gaining the same strength and size over and over again. And the more advanced they are, the more likely this inconsistency is going to result in 0 net gains over the long term. Eventually, this plateauing can result in a complete loss of interest in training, and the lifter quits, disappears, and is forgotten about.
There used to be this really strong guy at the gym. I wonder what he's doing now.
Now, the solution to inconsistency is obvious, but nuanced. You have to find your why, and remember the reason why you train. Go to the gym even on terrible days, but allow yourself to take it easier. On the other hand, if you start feeling burnt out, or you start dreading your training for several weeks, make small changes that make your training more interesting or less dreadful while still keeping it productive, like changing your rep ranges or your variations slightly. Little changes every month or 2 are actually beneficial, but don't change things too much or too often because reason number 2 intermediates get stuck: program hopping. Some people are always changing their plan or looking for the new shiny thing to try.
Man, I'm burnt out. I need a minimalist training plan. Barbell Logic has this really simple split. I'll go with that.
2 weeks later.
I've been feeling really good lately. I want to do more volume. Full body 5 times a week. I guess that could work for me.
A few moments later.
What's this? Squatting every day. That could be interesting.
I was one of these people, and I'm still often fighting that tendency. Trust me, I know how difficult it is for a person like this to stick to the plan when they think that something would work better. But it is a fallacy, and it's a never-ending cycle. When you change your variables constantly, you never actually learn what works for you, and you never give your body the chance to adapt to your training. And you want your body to adapt, because that's the way it gets stronger and bigger. You need to learn to stick to the plan and only make one small change at a time. It's the only way to learn and the only way to move forward on the long term. Reason number 3 intermediates get stuck. Improper programming. This is why learning what works for you is so important. Everything works for beginners, and even for intermediates, most cookie-cutter programs that aren't absolutely idiotic will work, because intermediates aren't yet that special. But to become advanced, you need to learn the little things, the 5% that separates you from the next lifter. One difference between an intermediate lifter and an advanced lifter is that the latter has virtually always learned to individualize their training. If benching 5 times per week works best for them, they don't bench twice a week. And if they need 20 sets of squats per week to make gains, they don't do 8 sets per week. Don't let yourself get stuck in certain paradigms. Either get a reputable coach that knows what they're doing and isn't married to a single method, or learn to program for yourself by learning from the best lifters and their coaches. Reason number 4 intermediates get stuck. Complacency. If you're an intermediate lifter and you go to a commercial gym, chances are that you're the strongest person working out there at any given time. Subconsciously, This can create a feeling that you're already strong enough and you don't need to push that hard. One solution is to start following either really strong or jacked people on the internet, preferably ones that are natural, because that sets a more realistic goal for yourself as well. Another, even better solution is to switch to a more serious gym if it's possible for you. Seeing people stronger than yourself every time you work out is sure to motivate you to push harder. Realize that you are nowhere yet, and that their results are possible for you too. Maybe. And the only way to find out is to work your ass off. Finally, reason number 5 intermediates get stuck. Becoming advanced is very difficult. This is the sad truth at the core of it all. Not something you can't overcome, but something most people simply don't want to overcome once they realize what it takes. The body is a survival machine first and foremost. It's very stubborn and it doesn't care about changing unless change is necessary for you to remain alive. In the beginning, the stress of lifting weights is so novel that your body freaks out and adapts really quickly. But after 5 years of hard and consistent training, the body is so used to that stress that you literally have to make it believe it's under serious threat for it to adapt any further. This will involve periods of discomfort and dreadful training from time to time. Not training through injury, but training through physical fatigue and total psychological burnout. Even the most highly driven and motivated lifters will have to discipline through some of these times, because motivation will drop for a time. Sometimes life also happens and there isn't a whole lot you can realistically do about it. So if lifting is a priority for you, you have to organize your life in a way that minimizes stress. Like said before, it's completely fine not to care about lifting that much. But if you do, be honest with yourself, and don't expect to progress beyond intermediate if you're not willing to put in the effort, the thought, and the dedication. That's all. Hopefully this video made you realize or feel something that will be helpful moving forward. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.